We're recording.
I don't care. Hey, editor, keep it in.
Buddy, here's the problem of I bounce around, so there's a real chance when I get around to this one, I'm gonna forget. And then this honestly, dude, let's make the final episode why the In Summary podcast is getting canceled. And
Yo,
then we'll use that as the clip. We'll just be a
All the
compilation of
reasons.
everything you said.
no, no, no. I've had conversations about this with my peers. I say some wild shit on this podcast. I don't say anything controversial in a bad way, though. I am the most centered out of the three of us.
Whoa, what do you mean by that?
Figure it out. On a
You mean
spectrum of whatever spectrum you want to think, I'm the most centered. I'm not saying I am center. I'm just saying I'm the most centered.
Okay, so let me put it this way. You are the center between black man and white woman. I'll give you that.
I'll give you that one.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying when you start thinking about all of the spectrums that there are in existence, we have a really good combo of hosts.
And you're just the middle of all of it. Like,
The most middle, but I'm not middle, is what I'm saying.
what do you mean you're the most middle?
However you want to interpret that.
So no matter the metric, you are the one who is the most in the middle.
Yes, on the spectrum of anything, I am the most middle out of all three of us.
That's not true.
Okay, so if I use the example, people who are interested in Magic the Gathering, yes, you would also be the most middle. Well, no, but let's put it that way.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's actually not bad because Jesse, how interested are you in Magic the Gathering?
0.
I have played it before,
So
Yeah,
he's
I
like
know.
50.
and
So,
Nathan plays it a lot. So you know what?
So 2 examples.
And there's a bunch more I could get into, but I'm not going to. On the record, we can
so
talk off the
on,
record about it.
okay,
No,
so
Nathan's the middle on the religious spectrum.
that is true,
I don't know.
but he's gone to church more recently than me.
Yeah, but you're more interested in spirituality than he is.
Yeah,
Bullshit. I know it with you guys. I don't talk about it. Bullshit. I don't know if I peaked. I don't know if I peaked. I might have peaked when I screamed. That is. I don't agree with that.
I do agree with that though.
That's
I
fine.
just
That's fine.
simply am more
Oh,
interested in it.
I
Hey, it won't
peaked.
get sticky, don't worry.
Don't worry, but they're just making it. Oh yeah, you're right. I just stumbled over my words. Welcome to the UMR In Summary podcast. Today we're talking about some things, but first we'll start with some introductions. And because I'm the most middle and the most blurry currently, I'll start with introductions. My name is Dallas. I use he and his pronouns. I work at NDSU, bro, and my hall is currently second place in our RHA Homecoming Spirit competition. And with me, I have
Oh, wow, we did at the same time. Fine, I'll take it. My name's Nathan Dozier. I'm an assistant director at Kansas State University. I'm a little sick. Um, but
Sick
yeah, I did
Nasty
a kickflip right before we started recording.
Triflip. No,
Um, but what's going on here? I don't know. I don't get to see like the individual student experience as much. So I don't get to say like these are the specifics that we're working on. Uh, our RHA is called ARH,
yeah, I hate
uh,
that actually. Fun fact.
which hey man, I won't say my opinion here. But it is different, and I'll give them that. Um, but we're talking about going to RLC.
That is coming up. Is the acronym? Is it the Association of Residence Halls? Is that what it
Yep.
is? Okay. Which I mean, like RHA is just Residence Hall Association. So honestly, if anything, that makes more sense as the Association of Residence Halls. But
I don't know if it makes more sense.
they're all associated with one another. I can hear your argument of like, or your institution's argument of why we have it that way.
They're
I
the
guess
same.
so.
They are
But
the
also,
same.
yeah, I mean, I have 50 cups that say that we're ARH, so for now we're ARH. But with us we have.
Yeah, thanks. I'm Jessie B, Associate Director at of residence life at Cornell College. She, her, because I'm allowed to say my pronouns still.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks. It's not your fault. Um,
It's not you, it's me.
Hey, according to Reddit, it is my fault. Just saying.
That's crazy.
I don't want you to unpack that on a podcast that we're posting.
No, I can unpack it real quick.
Okay.
On K-State, not in the middle of your introduction. I'll do it after you're done introducing yourself.
Well, I was trying to think of something that's going on here. There's actually not much going on here, which is miraculous because within the first 6 weeks, there's usually a lot of crime and crisis at Cornell. So I don't
Not
know
that
what's
Cornell.
happening. But what?
I said not that Cornell.
Not that Cornell, the other one.
No,
Yeah,
it's the Cornell you think, listener.
No, it's not. I can't speak
right.
to them.
Well,
Anyway,
the listener's probably in our region, and they should know Cornell in our region.
That's true. Oh, hold on 1 second. Someone knocked.
Dude, no one knocked here.
no one knocked here. Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Dude, speaking of knocks, but not actually, I'm just transitioning so we kill some time.
Okay.
I have a fucking blister on the back of my foot. Hate it. Because I was trying to look like really fashionable yesterday, so I was going for like I have a pair of Tims and I was wearing my Tims, but my Tims brush up on my feet differently than my regular shoes, and I was doing a lot of walking yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. Was it 2 days ago I wore my this week it happened.
Great.
And it's funny, I didn't even know I had a blister until I went on my after work walk in my normal shoes, not my Tims. And then I took my shoes off, my socks off, and I was like, why does the back of my foot hurt? And I looked at the back of my foot and I was like, oh, that's pretty sick in both ways, the cool way and the gross way.
That's disgusting. Thanks for
No, hey. It is a natural thing that happens sometimes to humans is blisters.
It's true.
You think pooping is disgusting?
Yeah. Natural and disgusting. Both can be true.
I to TMI in the beginning of this podcast before we get into the
Yeah, there's a
topics.
lot of TMI.
No, I don't care personally. It might as well be an open book because maybe that'll attract someone. I have some weird smells that I like. One being gas. I love gasoline as a smell.
Oh no,
One
that's more normal than I think you think it is.
one being like our landfill here. It's like just methane coming out of the ground. But it smells like popcorn to me, and I also like the smell of my own fart slash my poop.
What the fuck did I come to this conclusion?
I'm glad that timed out really. I timed pretty well because that's the idea. But no, because fun fact, it's actually it is a natural thing for you if you the listener are also like. I agree with Dallas. I like the smell of my own fart slash poop, but I don't want to announce that to people.
Everyone does.
Because your brain is saying, congrats, you got toxins out of your body, so they make it smell good.
So it's
That's
a
not why.
rewarding.
Yes, it is. Look, it's like how it's your brain tricking your nose to make it smell good because they said congrats for getting toxins out of your body. I look that up.
I've heard that the reason is because your brain is trained to be able to smell your own like fecal matter. So then when enemy fecal matter is nearby, then you're like, oh, someone's invaded this space. Link our brains back to like tribalism.
Dude, all fecal matters.
I I could take this in a direction, and I've decided not to. I've decided that we're going to
Mhm.
start talking about our actual topic. Yeah,
I
Nathan.
want to say real quick why Reddit blames me for
Oh yes, you were explaining. Yes.
yeah, so I'm not going to give a lot of detail of what my reply to this was because I don't want, for some reason, for my Reddit account to get linked to who I am. So essentially, I'm on the K-State subreddit and the Little Apple subreddit. The K-State subreddit said basically people finally figured out that diversity was removed from the mission statement.
Hmm.
Which is, yeah. I mean, that's the law that got put into place. We've
Right.
known this since like June that this was going to happen, but this is when people caught on and they were upset and they were like, I'm really ashamed of my alma mater. I'm ashamed of the leadership at K-State. And some people were like, oh, what a bunch of bootlickers. Oh, they just love the federal government. It's like, what do you mean? What do you actually like? Do you think everyone here is like, man, I love supporting students until it has to do with diversity? I don't think anyone here, I'm not gonna say anyone, but I'm at least gonna say the staff here isn't sitting here like, finally we got rid of that one thing we hate. Like that's not really anyone's mindset. No one was gunning for this. It's just what we have to do to keep our funding. So I made a post or a comment that said like, "Hey, in general, leadership's following what they're supposed to, so then you have a place to get your education because that's what we've promised you. And if that's not something that you want and you'd rather K-State fight this so then we don't have a college, then sure, we can do that. But I think no one is going to do that. Not no one in higher leadership or whatever is going to risk everyone's livelihood and everyone's education to keep a word. And I think the best way I heard this described was by one of my community coordinators. It was, yeah, if someone holds a gun to my head and says, I'm either going to shoot you or cut off your finger, then yeah, cut off my finger. Yeah,
And you know what I don't like that gets cut off sometimes?
Jesse B.
Well, that, but also like the support and acknowledgement of people who aren't freshmen on campus. And Jesse, would you like to introduce our topic today?
Okay.
That was a wonderful segue. Thanks for that. Our topic today, as Alice mentioned, is how to support students on campus who are not first years. And my first question for both of you is what are some of the unique challenges that sophomores, juniors, and seniors and above face that we don't always see in housing and student affairs? Nathan, take it away.
I'll actually link it to what I was just talking about. Sophomores and higher, all of them, all of our upperclassmen have historical knowledge and at least a little bit.
Mhm,
They'll be here for long enough that they see change.
mhm.
And I think a lot of the times changes are made to help the next class get a better experience,
Sure.
but all it does for the class that has been here is confuse them. And it makes it a little bit harder for them to stay adjusted when they've already adjusted to being on campus. And I
Yeah.
think some of that just kind of gets forgotten in the decision-making process. Um, yeah, that is a very succinct way of saying that. So that's all I have.
No, I like that. I never actually considered that
Mm.
of how, I mean, yeah, I mean, we're always trying to better the student experience, but that boils down to we're trying to better the freshman student experience. And
Yeah.
no, so I've never actually thought about like everyone else who got used to what the freshman experience was prior now has to relearn what does it mean to be a like they almost have to like reform their student identity on campus each year when things change. So no, I appreciate that. I have a general little soapbox that I want to start with, and then I'll do I'm going to re-ask what you asked me the question just so I can get back into your question. Okay, so my apologies. Hi, new listener. I do this every fucking podcast. Okay, so um, what I want to be able to like try to word this correctly without people not understanding what I'm trying to say or those who could be in positions that could help my anger not want to help me because of how angry I am. But uh, to put it, I guess the nicest way possible. So higher ed is a business. Okay. Unfortunately, higher ed and I mean the society runs on income. And the more that you have of it, the better you are situationally. Okay. And so like until we ascend as a species, that's gonna always be a thing. Is income drives uh, the world. You know, money makes the world go round, or whatever they say. And so higher education is a business trying to figure out how can we uh, take steps to get folks to come to our institution to give us money. Okay, that is the goal of any higher education institution is to get students to their institution for income, to then better the experience, but also for money. Okay, and so how do you make money in higher ed from the students, from the people who will pay to go to your institution? It is to direct all of your time, energy, and effort to recruitment of new freshmen. Okay, obviously there are statistics and there are things that show that if you don't properly support, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth years, they will not continue to give you money, so you are losing that. But if you can get someone to to 1 year to like, I'm going to pay your institution to give me some sort of positive education and experience, whatever they're looking for in college. If you can get them for their freshman year or their first year, depending on if they are traditional or non-traditional, if you can get them for a first year, you will most likely get them for a second, which means you'll get them for a third, means you'll get them through graduation, which means you've already gotten all that money out of them. So what I don't like is because is higher ed is a business and follows business model to recruit freshmen to get money. Now you can break that down in a lot of ways. Maybe I'm just a little cynical of that viewpoint. But that's where my first issue is that's why it seems like, at least internally, I've only worked with upper division communities. My 7 years plus of experience so far as a entry level individual in higher ed, I've only had primarily upperclassmen communities, and I have continuously seen, for one example, mass communication go out that makes sense for every other community, but not mine. And then I have to communicate with my students like, hey, you know that email that got sent by the department or from that organization or the president? It doesn't actually work for us. So let's rearrange it a little bit to make it actually make sense for your experience in our community and where you are in your academic journey right now. So I don't know. I've also already lost my train of thought. Choo choo, it's gone.
You want the question again?
Sure. Thanks, Jesse.
Oh, I got you. So we're talking about what unique challenges sophomores and above that we often miss in housing.
Yeah, I think I would like to start with the fact that so we're not talking about freshmen, out of second, third, fourth, whatever year they're in, I think the most overlooked group are your second years. I feel like that is the most overlooked group of students, whether it's in a residence hall setting, which we are more inclined to know knowledge or have knowledge of. But I'm also viewing it like in the academic sector too. A sophomore student, they lose their freshman advisor. They typically are now going into their actual major advisor. So they lose that support of like someone who knows how to support new to college individuals, academically, socially, all that stuff. So they lose that support, and they are now getting advisors and individuals in the department that are supposed to help them, but are more focused on their juniors and seniors who are closer to graduation and closer to job and closer to real world. So like, I would want to start with the most unique group of individuals that are the most overlooked are sophomores. And then specifically in residence halls, I feel like even if you have a curriculum that is split between first year experience and upperclassmen, there's that weird, like, again, I'm going to use an example specifically. This isn't part of curriculum, but I think this works really well with what I'm experiencing this year. So this is my 5th year as a hall director at NDSU, 7th total. This is the first time I've ever had to do laundry room signups, okay? Because my community, you smiled, we'll get there, don't you worry.
I just feel bad.
No, yeah, well, used typically in the past, at least with my more older, mature community, they kind of understand how to live in a community and use community spaces effectively and efficiently. So I've never actually had to use laundry signups. It's always been you do your laundry, you get your laundry out when you're done, keep doing that, and we're all good. This year, I've seen an influx, I've seen an influx of sophomore students living in my community. So second year, specifically second years. A lot of my 4th, 5th, 6th years like graduated last year, and a lot of spaces opened up, and a lot of those spaces got filled by people who wanted to live on campus that are second years. Okay. And they are removed from freshman year. They have a first year experience of how do I live in a community? How do I manage college et cetera, et cetera. But they still are 19. They're still learning life. You know what I mean? Like they're still figuring things out. But now there is an expectation because they are in a upperclassmen community. You should be, you should know way more than you probably do. So
Mhm.
we're gonna treat you as if you do, and we're gonna miss those intermediate steps of like, this is how I mean, go back to community respect, or this is how you start to develop your knowledge and awareness of like your identities, or whatever it may be. That's the first thing that came to my head for curriculum specific. But I feel like sophomores specifically are just the most overlooked individuals because we miss, like, if you have, again, if you being an institution have a educational based curriculum, not a programming model, and you are trying to do some sort of learning objectives and education in the residence hall through whatever means to get your residents more accustomed to, I don't know, being humans in society. Um, the most, depending on your demographic on your college campus, of who lives on college campus, your college campus, and who doesn't, it might make sense to split your curriculum to a first year and a non first year curriculum. Okay, and then the halls, which are predominantly first years, they have first year, vice versa on the other side. Um, I would argue that there needs to be some sort of like, either let's cut back that upperclassmen and stop thinking that they know as much as we think they do, because they don't. No offense to if you're a student listening, you don't know as much as you think. And
Mhm.
I don't know as much as I think. Why do you even care what I'm saying is the real thing right now. You know what I mean? But no, it's because you respect me as a listener, and I appreciate that. Um, but no, back to it. Um, I feel like either cut back on the where we want to see our upperclassmen students at the end of a semester or a year, or build something intermediately where like there is a bridge curriculum that we're trying to specifically target those individuals who have just left our freshman communities and are now for real trying to figure it out, basically all on their own, because there's so much support for freshmen, and then they lose that once they lose that freshman status. So I have calmed down a little bit since I've started, and
I was,
I
I
will
was gonna
yield
say
right now. Yes, go for
you
it.
you were gonna you said at the beginning that you were the most middle, but most energy slash frustration than Jesse than me. The only reason I'm at the bottom is because I'm sick. That's not. It's not that you're typically the
Fair.
most. Yeah, but I'm like I'm just chill, man.
One of my ways to win arguments is the hyperbole, like logical fallacy or whatever. So I love exaggeration. So
Mm.
obviously I'm not the middle of everything, but to win that argument, I tried to state that I was.
But now by admitting it, you lost that argument.
Oh, I
Lost.
know. No, I agree. And I'm okay with losing arguments. I used to not be, and that's called growth.
Proud of you.
No,
You
no.
used to not be, but then after you were done talking just now, something's changed in you.
No, no, I mean like when I was a kid, I was very like if you told me I was wrong, I wasn't.
Yeah, but
But
now you have
now
the you're
but
right model. Sorry, that's a reference to a previous one. We're not going back into the you're right model. I'm sorry, Jesse. Can you tell us, I guess, the common ways that we've seen our upperclassmen students be overlooked?
I mean, y'all hit it pretty well, honestly. I think this goes into the next question a little bit. Like Dallas was saying, retention is the metric that is only between first and second year. Um, Persistence covers everything, but retention determines persistence a lot of the time. Um,
I gotta say, I have not once in my entire professional career heard anyone talk about persistence. I've only heard us talk about retention from freshman to sophomore year.
uh-huh. Yep. Persistence is really overlooked as just a concept. Like the metrics aren't examined the same way. Like, the colleges track them, but we don't, you know, on our level, we don't hear about that in meetings. We don't, no one's asking us to put forth effort for persistence. It's always about retention, which there are statistical reasons for that, right? Like the more that you retain, the more that students persist. Um,
I love the word persistence.
mhm.
I use no. Okay,
But
fuck
that word's
you.
great.
No,
Sorry.
no, no. The reason I say that is because it's one of the so I like I said, I work in upper division community. When I am selecting and trying to hire RAs for the new academic year, we do a team effort. So it's not like I'm the only one selecting for my building. We're all selecting for everyone's buildings because who knows who the supervisor is going to be next year. So we're all selecting for all of our communities. Um, but like we always have a conversation prior of like what are some like characteristics that you are looking for in students
Mhm.
that would work in upper division communities. And obviously, I am one of the only few hall directors here that have a lot of experience in that. And so I always bring up at least staff members in our communities have to be persistent with the
Mhm.
students for this, that, and the other reason. That's why I love this idea that you brought up persistence because yes, you need to keep fucking going, brother. And that's persistence, baby.
Well, I
In all sense of
honestly,
the form. Yeah, go
It's
for it.
sorry, go ahead, Nathan.
I was just gonna say it really boils down to you were saying there's a statistical reason why we don't really talk about it. It's probably mostly the sunk cost fallacy, right? Like after the first year, if we can get the student to stay the second year, third year they're gonna be like, well, I don't want to waste 2 years of my life, so let me get this third one down.
I mean, honestly, but it's interesting to me, even just the difference in the vocabulary, we retain students. The institution retains students. Retention is not necessarily on them. Persistence, students persist. That's a choice that they make.
We do not persist students.
Right. Um, so I just feel like even the language is telling about how we think about it, where like for your first year, it's our job to retain you, but after that, it's your job to persist. Um, and all of that
Ah.
support gets pulled.
Mhm.
Not all, but a lot of it.
A
Like
lot.
we're not gonna tell you how to make friends anymore. We're not gonna put you in places where you will. We're not gonna, um, at Cornell, we'll still like whoever can come to an org fair or, um, a wellness thing, but
No, you're right though.
we're not gonna require it. Yeah.
But there's also that assumption from faculty and staff that like if you are second, third, fourth, fifth, that you have the knowledge that you should
Mhm.
have at that point. But some people, myself included, I didn't do anything outside of class my first year on a college campus. I went to school initially. I went to college initially, and my thought was I'll go to class and I'm gonna stay in my room and play video games. I'm just gonna get my degree. That was my original plan. And
Yeah.
so I had no real knowledge of anything outside of my academic classes as a freshman. So I'm going to my sophomore year basically as a freshman when it comes to how the heck do I get involved into this
Hmm.
community. And but there's again like and all that support my freshman year, goodbye. And then they
Right.
just assumed that I already had my networks and my connections and my people, which I did not. I'm glad that I found it, but it took a
Mhm.
lot more of like my own persistence than the support that should be there or the persistence of staff to make sure that the people actually are finding the success they want to find.
And to some extent, it's a reasonable expectation that you should be needing less scaffolding, less support throughout, like as you grow in college, because eventually the goal is, especially I think in student affairs, um, like you shouldn't need us anymore after you graduate. Like now that's your job. You have to figure out your housing. You have to figure out how to feed yourself. You have to get yourself a job. Um, but I think the way that we almost overload first years with support, where especially if you have like a first year seminar or first year experience program, which I think most places do at this point, where there's like curriculum ongoing throughout the year that they're required to show up for these things and they're required to sit in on these seminars where, you know, resources are being given. Um, and they get overloaded with all of this information that then they forget for the rest of their college experience. And then all of that is pulled immediately away. And there are some ways to remedy that. At Cornell, we do a sophomore year seminar that they do at the beginning of their year that's about career development and just how to kind of get the most out of your college experience now that you've settled in. Um, so there are, the different campuses do have some effort, but I think what I have a problem with is that we scaffold, scaffold, scaffold at the very beginning, and then we just pull it all back instead of kind of phasing it out.
I kind of want to use a weird analogy. It's
Mhm.
like you love bomb someone the first time you
Yes,
meet them, and
yes.
you're like, "Oh my God, you're the best person ever," and they get put on this pedestal, and then you get in the relationship. You're like, "Well, I don't have to put the effort in. I reached my goal."
Yes.
And it's
Yep.
I don't think about it that much, mostly because our jobs don't really give us the time to allow us to
I mean, yes.
look at this. And I don't know, maybe we need res life data analysts, but who knows which communities or which colleges have the capability of having that. But like when I'm thinking about what programs that I've helped with since I've been at K-State, like the one big one I did, we talked about having transfer students, sophomores,
Mhm.
and basically the answer we got was no. This is a
Mhm.
program that's for freshmen, and this is to teach them how to make those connections and network and all this stuff. It's like, how is any of that not relevant to students who are of
Right.
any demographic, any age? And I wonder, is it just that the focus is there for that? Because we know at the end of the day, it's night. But at the end of the day, when you're like churning through classes, if you don't have a large freshman class, then that's who knows how many years. I
Hmm.
mean, 4 or 5 years. I guess we do know how many years. That's 4 or 5 years of a reduced revenue, as
Yeah.
you were saying, Dallas, because it is a business at the end of the day. And when you don't meet the goal, it's not that you didn't meet this year's goal, it's that you didn't meet a 4 year goal right at the beginning.
Mhm. Because we know there's going to be melt, right? Like there are just going to be students who show up their first year and they don't have the skills that they need, they don't have the emotional resources that they need, for whatever reason, they're not going to make it. They're not going to be retained. Um, and that continues each year. Um, So, yeah, you have to hit a certain target. And again, statistically, once you have them for a first year, it is exponentially more likely that you have them for all four. And so if we have limited resources, which every college right now does, we're gonna put most of them into what we view as statistically most important, which is um I'm looking for the word.
It's in there.
It's not. Like
Functional.
it's a shrewd business. That's what it was. It's shrewd. It's a good business move.
I would have never
Um,
helped you with that one.
I know that's
I don't think
why.
I ever used that word, shrewd. How do you
That will
spell
be
that?
my Wordle guess tonight.
Is it five
That's a good one.
letters?
No, it's six.
SHRE. Oh, damn it.
Oh, have you not done today's Wordle?
No, I
That
do
will.
it at 9 o'clock.
Oh.
It's part of my nightly ritual.
I kind of
Mm.
want that
Do you
actually.
do that with your friend in the Discord at 9?
I do it with my friend and my wife. We do the Wordle together, then she departs to go read while we have now upgraded to playing Magic Online together because he finally got into it. So
Gosh.
I want you to obviously use maybe you still use shrew instead of a D.
Shrew, good one.
You can do that.
It has been used before though, and I know it.
I was gonna say I want you to still use shrew as your first guess. It will give you nothing. That's my only hint.
Man, I wish you didn't say that because now I shouldn't use it.
No, you should use it.
I'll forget by then, don't worry.
I'll text you. No. I won't. I won't.
Anyways,
Anywho.
putting resources into first years is a shrewd business move.
Yeah.
And the actual experience, shrewd business moves, don't make for super quality experiences a lot of the time for the actual humans who are living them.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry to any university leadership who ever watch this podcast. I assume it's one and it's going to be in like 10 years, and it might just be me. Who knows? Um, but we can do everything under the sun that makes it so people feel welcome at our universities. If that was the goal, we would be putting our time and resources into different things, if we are going to be entirely frank and honest.
Mhm.
We do not need to. what was the stupid thing that I saw? Not here, not here, not here. Voorhees, maybe. But there was like, I don't know, like, have you ever seen someone spend $250,000 on a bench?
What?
Because I have. And while it was good for the students' experience because it was an engineering thing where it was a bench that when you swing on it, it generates energy. So then the outlet there could like charge your phone. It's cool.
Oh, that's fun.
But it's $250,000 for one bench. And this was for like only students that were a part of this project are the ones who worked on it. So $250,000 is a lot of money that could improve probably if you just used that money and lowered everyone's tuition,
Hmm.
that money, you would create a better student experience
Yeah,
for like a net positive. I'm not saying that this wasn't a positive, very specific situation, but
right,
it's not the most good you could do with that money.
right.
And if we always were thinking about what are the most good that we can do for the individual students, regardless of our PR, then yeah, we would just lower tuition with that type of money. Or when we get huge amounts of money from a donor and we don't really need a new building, lower tuition.
I
Give
mean,
1,000 scholarships.
some of it is complex, right? Because the
Yeah.
money is earmarked for things,
But
and they're
but let me tell you, it's only complex because we've made it complex. We
legally, yeah.
we
But
created the things. Let's make it less complex. Go back to bartering.
Bartering?
that is more complex, actually.
So let me get this straight. You think that with the quarter, no, 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 no. I'm taking what you said to its logical extreme. So
Let's
you
go.
think with $250,000, someone should say, let's use it for a bench. And I should say, "Ah, okay, I'll use $250,000 minus $1, and we'll build a boat.
Dude, that sounds cool. A two
Actually,
hundred
does sound
forty
really
nine
cool.
thousand dollar
Vote.
boat. Wait, I just took away $1,000. 100? Who cares?
Bartering's only complex when you're good at it. Just saying.
Yeah.
Barring. Oh, have you ever haggled at a market in somewhere
Yes.
outside of the US?
No. I've only haggled in the US.
Okay, you should try it outside the US sometime.
Okay,
It's hard to
Miss
do
World
because I don't know how
Traveler.
much stuff costs.
It I mean, yes, correct, but usually stuff costs less than they tell you it does.
You know?
Um,
Dude, that's everything. Oh, let's get into that. I'm kidding. We're
No.
not.
oh, let's not. Uh, okay,
But
so
yeah.
this is now a curiosity, now that we have ranted about the problems, all the problems of the world, like we usually do, have you seen, or can you imagine, like good creative efforts and how we do them that maybe are actually possible and don't involve bartering?
Well, I think, okay, so there's obviously things that could be adjusted that I could soapbox and rant about, but I don't have my hands in it, so I'm not going to speak on it. I'm going to use the lens of I am a hall director in an upper division community. So what can I do to try to make it where those residents that I currently have that are not graduating this semester want to come back next semester and want to come back next year and feel like they have the support that they need in the community. Okay, cool. So uh, I've talked about this before. I don't remember what podcast. I think they're
I know which one.
okay.
It
Which
was the
one?
In Summary podcast.
So
43 minutes, just so y'all know.
I don't give a I don't care. My scan's complete for my malware bites. All right, back to what I was saying. Um, clean computer, no viruses right now. So what I was saying is I think we need to, in our upper division communities as res life individuals who have a say in those spaces, you need to specifically ask what these damn people need slash want. We need to stop making assumptions on what they need and where or what success they are trying to find, and actually ask, like, fucking why maybe at the end of their freshman year or at the beginning of the whenever it makes this most sense. Let's start polling folks. Let's start cold calling, and I say cold call, like let's knock on doors and say, hey, I want to make sure that your experience this semester and this year is fantastic. How can I do that? And something that I actually really appreciate that we are starting at NDSU, that I mean, we have done it in a way that we are starting to morph that I think could always be improved if we start to think of like how it's being used now and how can we change in the future. Regardless, we have what we call in the past we've had roommate success plans. We still have those. They make sure the roommates are cool. We now have another success plan called single room success plans because not everyone has roommates, especially in my community. A lot of studios, a lot of studio apartments, and they just don't get, especially in like the time frame of that we're doing the other like the roommate success plans. They're not getting any meetings. They're not meeting with their RA and talking about what support they need. Those single rooms, at least until this year. And so we implemented a single room success plan, and part of that conversation is the staff member, that RA of that resident, asking, how can I support you this year? And how much involvement do you want from me as your RA? Okay? Because not every resident in an upper division community needs you to give them information on what the dining center hours are, for example. Okay? But some do. They could be a transfer, they could be an international student that the first time they're actually even living in the country is your resident. So like is the time that they are your resident. And so just you need to just talk to the folks and figure out. I know that would, and then yes, that takes a lot of front work, but then that makes the semester and the year fantastic. Like as the hall director, been getting these notes that my staff have been submitting via forms about their residents and how these meetings have gone. I have implemented. It's back to this is how I learned about the laundry problem. Was a lot of these sophomore students in my community were talking about laundry and how it's a fucking circus here is how they would view it, but it's really not. It's just you don't know how to use laundry rooms yet, but that's okay. We're all learning. But still, they were talking about how like can we have some more structure in these laundry rooms? And I saw that and I implemented it. And so it's like it's not that simple, but it actually is. And I yield.
Um, you were talking a little bit about something. I don't know when it reminded me of this. I don't know if we've talked about sororities and fraternities. Maybe we have on this podcast. Maybe we haven't. I'm not going to go into my feelings about it, but I'm going to say they have a damn good model for retention. Like they truly do a lot of things that make it so people want to stay here, and then they also get the networking done for these people, so then they feel ready to leave. And when I first heard about learning communities, I thought that that's what they would be.
Mm.
And it makes no sense to me why you connect with this community of people who all have a similar interest to you, who are in the same field, who are probably going to do the same work that you are. But all the networking's done your freshman year, and you hope you still have that connection in 3 years, 4 years, when you're going to the next steps. I'm not going to say it should be exactly like a fraternity slash sorority. I don't think it should be like that. But why is there not like first year LLC or I don't know what everyone calls them? I'm going to call them learning communities. So first year learning communities, when you join it because you signed up and you signed up at the right time. Second year, you're now the second year and you have a little who is part of the first year community and you get paired up. And then those are the people who get paired up constantly as we shift through. Third years are in your exec board for this learning community, and fourth year are in general kind of transitioning out, but still helping with events. Like that whole system would make more sense. I know we'd have to have way more like space, I guess, to house people when it comes to that kind of structure, but I don't see a purpose of an LLC if it's not supposed to like keep you connected, except for, yes, we focus on the freshman experience. But I don't, it seems like such an easy transition just because we have all those names of people who are interested in this their first year. We can find the people who want to remain in their second year. And it's a nice alternative to sororities and fraternities because you don't have to pay extra for it.
True.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have two thoughts.
Yeah.
What you just said. just ways that I've seen similar things done. So first off, Cornell, actually, we do learning communities sophomore year and above. Um, they are completely student run, so they're all voluntary, and they are connected to student orgs. So a student organization can apply for a charter, and then they kind of write a mission statement, make a plan for kind of how they want to be involved in it, and it always has to be about bettering the community in some way. So like right now we have our student theater council is just kind of trying to expose the community to the arts. Um, and that's a part of their mission and values, and they all get to live in a part of a res hall together for this purpose. They're putting on events every month. They're um, yeah, making sure that there's connection points across different art mediums and even across like into STEM majors and among athletes and people that normally wouldn't maybe be involved as much. We have another student organization that they do like sexual assault advocacy. And they are working on creating a safe space on campus so that students can have peer advocates that they meet with that connect them to other resources. But those are set up so that they can have continuity throughout the years. And they are tied to an already existing club structure. So the continuity that follows in the LLC is the same as the executive board for that club. It may not be all the same people living in the place, but the president of the club is going to also be the chair of the LLC and manage kind of who's involved with both things. So that's one way I've seen it done that has, I mean, like there have been COVID did a real number on our LLCs, and we're kind of trying to build that program back up. But as of this year, we have 4, and there's probably 50 or 70 students that are now in like tied to that program in some way, shape, or form. And they are, I mean, they're building community, they're building a sense of belonging that is mostly driven by their own effort, which I think is also really helpful. Like we give them the structure, and that's huge. And also they're motivated because it's their thing. Like they're bought in, they know what they need, and we give them the resources to do it. And then another, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but my alma mater did not have class-based housing at all. Like we were all, every floor was just first years through seniors. And there was a lot of conversation about how you navigate that well, especially with res life, because like yes, there's a lot of resources set up for first years, but then there was also kind of onus put on upperclassmen to grow from that experience, to become leaders on their floors, even if they weren't in a formal leadership position, because there were mentorship opportunities that were just happening on the floor. Like it wasn't all on just one RA to make sure that all these other people learn the ropes. It was everybody's contributing to just help acclimatize these first years. And then each class kind of had understood more and more this sense of belonging. Here's where I fit in kind of this family of students that all live together. And there was more continuity on floors because people could stay for all 4 years, and more, I think, just general responsibility and contribution to the community, because everybody was together and everybody understood that they had a role in supporting each other. So I think, to your point, Nathan, that kind of continuity that happens among students where they can all kind of be rolled into a process together, I think that helps a ton with persistence and a sense of belonging, which I think right now, especially with what's happening with DEI, has become an important conversation on campus. How do we make those efforts outside of just an office or an entity that does that? That was a long soapbox, sorry.
No, it was not the longest soapbox of the day.
Yeah, Nathan, stop talking about things.
My bad.
You're right. Move on.
Wow. Okay, so we're at almost an hour. Does anybody have other thoughts?
I was just gonna say in summary. Think about your sophomores, your juniors, your seniors. Like, if you're in a freshman community, okay, fine, you get a pass. I'll give you the pass, but only you. Who would do that? Cole, Cole. I know that you're in a freshman only community. I get it. Not verbatim, but I don't know. Everyone else, just think about what you can do to support them. Make a new thing that no one else is doing, and then take credit for it because you deserve to.
Yeah, true.
And that's been the UMR in summary podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Comment down below your favorite sound. If you've made it this far, comment down below your favorite sound. I like rain on a garage door. That's my favorite sound.
I like the sound of a single drop of water dripping into more water.
That's
A little,
nice.
Like
a little.
once or we couldn't hear that.
It
That's
didn't
so
come through. It
sad.
didn't
Damn
come
it.
through, but I know exactly what noise you made, and
Yep.
I do
That's
appreciate
okay.
that.
That is,
But yeah, so that's been the UMR in summary podcast. I've been Dallas, and they've been themselves as well. That's Jesse and Nathan, if you forgot. Um, and we'll catch you the next time whenever these get posted. If you like them on Tuesdays, get fucked. We'll post them when we can. So we'll see you later.